Hey Sparkies, welcome back. There are many items that we rely on in our daily life, such as a flashlight for when the power is out, an alarm clock for waking us up on time, measuring spoons for when we are baking. I mean, who wants too much salt in their cookies? Ick. A pencil for writing things down, and a Bible for discovering God's Word. We depend upon things like this to help us with important services every day, just like God depends on us to be His servants. I'm going to tell you the story of Miriam, a girl that was brave when she served God. The king of Egypt was angry. Many new Israelite babies were being born. Why did this make the king so angry? Because he had thousands of Israelite slaves. The king was scared that too many baby boys would grow up and take over Egypt. So the king ordered that all the baby boys should be killed. A baby boy was born during this time. The parents were frightened and wanted to save him from harm. The baby had a sister, Miriam, who was about 10 or 12 years old. Miriam and her mother made a little basket from reeds. That's the grasses that grow along the river. Then they placed the baby in the basket and put him in the Nile River because it was their only place to keep him safe. Even though it was dangerous, Miriam showed great courage and love for her family. She watched over her little brother as he floated down the river. The little basket floated to a place where the king's daughter was bathing. The little baby was so beautiful that the princess decided to raise the baby as her own. Miriam had to think fast. As the princess took the baby out of the water, she named him Moses. But she needed help to care for him while he was so little and so young. So Miriam ran toward the princess and volunteered to find a nurse to care for the baby. The princess agreed. So Miriam ran home and got her mom to care for her own son. Moses grew up to be a strong leader. God called him to help lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Miriam continued to serve God by helping Moses when he was grown up. She showed her trust and loyalty to God every day, but God knew that he could depend on Miriam to help him and Moses with what they had to do. God showed the people that he was all-powerful. God helped Moses to lead the people out of Egypt. I'm going to read Micah 6:4. For I brought you up from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery, and I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. When the Israelites became trapped in front of the Red Sea, with the Egyptian soldiers coming after them, God caused the water to part so that the Israelites could cross the river before the Egyptians could catch them. When the people arrived safely on the other side of the river, Miriam celebrated by worshiping God with a song and dance. She took a tambourine and played music with all the women, and they all followed her as she sang. Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. And that's found in Exodus 15:21. The Bible tells us that Miriam was a good follower of God. She was a musician and a devoted servant. Miriam was an everyday, all the time servant for God. Miriam was in her 90s when the people crossed the Red Sea. That means she spent many years as a faithful servant. But Miriam, she wasn't perfect. When the people crossed the sea into the desert, life was hard. The people complained. Miriam became jealous of her brother Moses. She felt that he was being treated as more important. So Miriam spoke against her brother Moses, but God heard her. That's because God hears everything, even our innermost thoughts. God was not pleased with Miriam, so God punished her. He allowed her to get leprosy. And that's the awful skin disease which meant Miriam was an outcast. Moses pleaded for God to heal her and give her another chance. God showed mercy. But first, Miriam would have to suffer with the disease for 7 days and live outside a camp. Even though Miriam had failed, she is remembered as a very strong, dependable servant of God. She was helpful, caring, and faithful. For your activity, draw a picture of yourself serving the Lord.